I was singing on this other side, and then these guys, after I finished, I've sang my heart out, you know, blood, sweat, tears, the works. When I'm done, they're like, can we talk to you? So I'm like, okay. And there are two producers. I'm like, yeah, Sama. They're like, are you sure? Are you sure?
Can you move this?
You sure to go this direction of singing? Are you sure? And I'm like, excuse me? They're like, no, you know, you have a good voice, but like, you know, we need more Tiwa and more Yemi Alade. Listen to them. Maybe right now you feel like you're Nikita Kering and Fee. And I was in My name is Imma. I'm full Immaculate, how the government knows me. I am many things. I recently discovered that I am something called a multi-potentialite, meaning I do many things. But I am a singer-songwriter. I am an artist, a fine artist, I paint. I am a writer, I have a blog, and professionally I'm a lawyer. I'm looking how you're supposed to finish it. Yeah. Oh, I'm a teacher also. I lecture at ABMI. It's a series of things that led up to where I am, honestly. Because as a kid, I was in church, in the youth, we was dancing, we was singing, things like that. So that's why I discovered I like to sing. And actually that was in my house, because my house is my family are very musical. My mom can sing, my dad has falsetto for days. They're just like, what are these notes you're hitting? My sisters can sing, my bro can sing. So that was my musical family background. And then I went into church as a youth group as a kid and just grew up there and doing concerts and things like that. And then I didn't really take music seriously, let me be honest. Because I had always wanted to do law when I was growing up. And so I went into law school and I did law school, but somehow in 2015, when I was supposed to be in a class, I saw a talent search for somebody looking for talents in music, in art and things like that. It had been held in Modaiga. So it was a Friday morning, I had class, but my sister told me you can't miss this, just go. So I went as a fine artist. I was going as a fine artist for this talent search. So I showed up with my pictures of my paintings and I showed the guy, one of the panelists, and he's like, but how sure are we that these are your works? I'm like, I came all the way to Modaiga as an artist. So I said, I'm not living here like that. So I'm like, I can sing also. He's like, fine, sing. So I sang. So somehow, I was shortlisted with 3 other people to be in a band. So it seemed like what he was doing, what the end goal was to put us in a band and then now manage the band. So we had a couple of performances, the band shifted of course, but yeah, that's how I got into music. And we had a couple of performances, I think for 2 years. Again, people came, people left. Yeah, like it happens. And then 2017 we had our last performance, but we didn't really just gonna be our last performance. We just kind of fizzled out because life was getting really. Guys are in law school, guys are finishing law, guys are getting into jobs. So I put that on pause. In the meantime, I started writing. But this was, I think, also 2017 during the election period. I had quit or resigned my job at a law firm and I was working at an art center because I realized my heart is in art. I can run, I can hide, but at the end of the day, so I was working at a place called Karen Village. And during this time, election period, guys are being told to stay at home and things like that. So now let me take care of that aspect of now what the painting is. So painting, I discovered I loved to paint in high school. So I did 2 courses at BIFA, in oil painting and color theory, and then I went into mentorship under an artist called Patrick McCarthy. So that was 2010, I think, just after high school. So now, fast forward now to I finished law school, I'm working at this art center as an intern, and the artist I was being mentored with at that time that Pioneer was there, they knew me and knew that I was in law school, so they'd send me that contract to look at. So I'd look at the contracts, and most of them were very bad, shitty contracts.
Yeah.
And I'd like tell them, don't sign this because of this and this, or look out for this and things like that. And I think I got really tired of seeing bad artist contracts. I just got fed up. I'm like, is there not going to be a nice one? Is there going to be someone that can give an artist a really good contract and be like, this is good from the very beginning, no negotiation. It's little money for crazy terms. They want to own your face and your artwork, and it's just, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense for those restrictiveness of the contracts and the aggressiveness of the contracts for what they were asking. And the thing is, there's this notion that if you don't do it, you'll get somebody to do it cheaper. Somebody else wants the money. And so it's basically like an accepted standard with how corporates approach artists. So I was fed up. So I wrote a long ass letter. And then I put it on a blog post, and then I shared, and then I went back to sleep. So this blog post got shared by artists. So in the morning, or rather the next day I wake up, guys are in the DM like, do more of it. And I'm like, you guys are joking. Me, I was ranting. I wasn't serious about this. So like, we need to do more of this because there's nobody who's speaking about these things as a lawyer and an artist. I'm like, okay, let me try. And that's how I got into blogging, into writing. So that's the writing cap. Singing was so natural in our house. It was a Saturday, because we used to do chores on Saturday. So my sisters were there. But so moja anafagia hapo na Maria Carey, mwingine anaosha choo na Whitney Houston.
Kwa earphones, some of the same.
No earphones at that time, you guys. No earphones, it was one radio. So you switch, and then it was tapes also. So I think they'd record Maria Carey and it's playing on radio, when it's string on radio, or rather it's playing on radio, and then they put it into a tape of just banned, copyright infringed music, and then I'll play it on Saturdays. My brother was Boys to Men, Damu. My other sister was Westlife and Brandy. So this is the kind of music influences I had growing up. That's
all
what
of them are older than you.
I'm the last one. You're the last one. So these are the influences that I grew up around. My dad was Lingala and Rumba. My mom liked church songs and hymns.
All of them do.
We love our Kenyan mothers. So that's how I learned how to harmonize, because of Boys to Men. Brandy had runs for days. I loved Brandy because of that Full Moon album. I know every song back to back because of my sister, because she kept playing it and playing it. Over and over. I learned also runs from my other sister, from Mariah Carey, listening to that. How to Project Whitney Houston. So they influenced me without knowing they're influencing me. Because I think I was also those kids who absorbed what I was seeing around me. I just used to go and soak up things. So yeah, childhood, that's how listening to kind of music that I was playing in the house, that's what influenced me. And so also just now, my era was Spice Girls. My child was older. My era was Spice Girls with Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera. Sorry? Lauryn Hill. But I wasn't conscious. I wasn't walk out like me. I wanted, if people had color in their costumes, I was listening to music.
This is it.
That's it. Atomic Kitten. Yes, those are the influences I had. So now me, I'd have my own concert in the house. When everybody either has gone away or something like that. Because me, so I'd have the TV remote and I'd have my own mini concert and things like that. But I never thought of it as something I could do professionally or as a career. Because I don't think I knew anybody who was doing music. And this was, it's just people who are on TV, it's just people who are in developed countries, America and plus, that can do that. As we don't have options like that. Yeah, so it never really crossed my mind to be a singer and songwriter. As a kid, I didn't know local music. Again, our house, The local music we had was the Mushrooms and Billy Bell. And that's not even at local Kenyan, it's just local African. Bas. I think the first local music I had, like Kenyan music I had as a kid was Masimaira. This guy is Gidi Gidi Maji Maji. I'm trying to think. And then now as an early teen, when now the era for Kina Isa, Kleptomaniacs, Kina Amina, Nameless, Mega Rider, what? I was like, these are Kenyans. Yeah. Who else? Nazizi came out, I think, when I was in class 7. I love local music. The fact that I could identify something on radio, like it's not just English, ni Kiswahili, even as on kwa shule. Yeah, I loved it. I love local music. Miss Good. Okay, I hate being called a cool kid. Guy. Primary, I was part of drama and music. High school, I think, was the same. Born and bred in South B. High school, South B. Primary, South B. Me, I used to grace. My parents were like, Our Lady of Mercy Primary School. Both Catholic schools. And Our Lady of Mercy Secondary School. And I'm not ashamed to say them. So both ours. And yeah, I was part of drama clubs. Because I was a busy good books. I was very busy. I was busy with everything else but books. I was busy. So I did drama in primary. I also did drama in music in high school. So I think right now somebody who's in primary or secondary, I think it's a really good time to have an interest in the arts. Because as compared to when some of us were growing up, there weren't many options. You're either doing genge or kapuka. That was it. If you're doing something, or maybe dance hall. If you're doing anything else, guys, like, we don't know what that is. So right now you have more leeway or agency over your identity as an artist. And you can start wherever you are, because again the internet is mind-blowingly amazing. You know, you can be discovered at 10, at 15. Yeah. So a lot more options exist right now. Internet came when we were, I think, in class 8, when we had Minesweeper. And that kind of pinball thing, yeah. It wasn't something that I was intentional about ever. I was just coasting. Me, I'd be thrown into groups of singing, thrown into a band. I was just coasting. I was just existing. It was a good time. The day I got intentional was the day, even in the band, I would lie. I wasn't as intentional as I am now. And I think I didn't know where this music thing was going. Like, me, I'd be called, I'd show up, but like self-initiative, I didn't have much of that. Like at the voice coaching classes or writing my own music, I was just coasting. Me, I was just there. I existed. The day I got intentional was so through the writing, through my blog. There's again the producer I told you about, Marco. He showed up at my office as a client looking for a lawyer. And he's like, oh, you know, I've seen your posts. You look like you know what you're talking about in music. I'm like, yeah, I've kind of sung at this for a while. And then he asked, so do you sing? I'm like, kitambo. And he's like, why can I see your videos? Wait, don't show those videos to people. I don't, because I don't know. So he dug them up and he found them. And then he asked me to start teaching at 2 schools. So one was on Bunyala Road, the other was ADMI, Africa Digital Media Institute. So teaching at these institutions, you're seeing music production equipment every day. You're seeing music composers every day. You're seeing producers every day. Like it's just every, like, has the conditions been so right? Has it ever been so right, Mbaka, you're just like, and yeah, here, if I don't use this opportunity, I'm a fool. It's me, I'm the problem. Because even just the students are all singers, like everybody's an artist. Like I felt like I was home. And then I met an artist called Olivia Ambani. And she came in as a client, but then we became pals. And she just told me, you need to bank on yourself, because nobody else can bank on yourself like you can bank on yourself. So I know you have fear and you have doubt and all these things, because my fears about the industry was, I'm not this enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not it girl enough, I will not show my ass, I just wasn't sure I was cut out for the industry. I had insecurities, massive. I had many insecurities, so I didn't think that I was acceptable for the industry. Even just the style of music I wanted to do. But she just told me, because now she's more of an R&B soul artist, and she was doing so well, and she's like, you could just start and work through the fear. Yes, you're afraid, work through it, but do something, because at the end of the day, it's you who's going to live with these regrets. These people you're trying to please, just society, what will they think, These guys are living their lives, nobody cares about anybody really. So that push, and then just being amongst all those creatives on a daily, I just realized, and I have to take up this opportunity. And then the school also has a studio. As in, mimi ningekimbia wapi. There's a producer there. There's everything I needed in one place. So I was like, okay, fine. Let me give myself a chance. So that's what happened. I started recording at school, and then I met my producer. He's an alumni from there. My would-be manager was also a teacher there. So it just came together so well. That's when I got intentional about it, like writing music and getting into studio and releasing music. So first of all, my family. They're my first fans. They have been to every show I've ever performed at, even the bad ones. See, I mean my siblings. Wazazi is a different story. My siblings have been very supportive. I can't thank them enough. They've come to every single show. By siblings, I also mean my other cousins who are like sisters to me. Another honorable mention is Juma, now the guy who pushed me, and he just told me, again, there's Olivia Mbani who gave me the spark, and then there's Juma who just had so much faith in me without even hearing me sing. He didn't know I could sing. Like he had an idea, but I don't know what pushed him to push me. So yes, him, because he also used to book for me sessions. He introduced me to my now producer. So my producer, definitely honorable mention to him. Joe P has translated my sound into music. Again, me being very cautious about what kind of sound I want to put out. I don't know. I think it's very important to get somebody who can translate the kind of art you want to make, and he does that. And when we compose, it's like magic. So definitely a mention to him. My band, the band that I still believe in. I still believe we can still do something, because now also I learned the dynamics of being a musician from the lead, Wamugunda Mwangi. He would book sessions. I found out where studio spaces were, rehearsal spaces were, how to manage a brand, how to talk to people in the event space from him. Yeah.
Okay.
And Marco, who introduced me to EDMI, and then just set up a series of events. No, of course, definitely. A lot more good is yet to come. But the best experience for me, I think, would have been releasing my first single, Grown. That I don't know how to explain it. Everything from the producing it, because I produced it during a pandemic. 2020 was trash. So even getting into studio, I couldn't, because my producer was scared, I was scared, everyone was scared, studios were closed. So he came to my house to record it there. So we had to put up mattresses. Hey, the ghetto. But we recorded it and finished it there. And then now, it came to the part of shooting the video. That day it was so much fun. We even forgot we were shooting a video because it was so authentic. I got my friends to come through, and it was just a really good time. So just the process was just it was feel good vibes all through. Even the team I worked with, my photographer, Japicha Films, He's also a friend of mine. I also met at ADMI. ADMI is a meeting point. My makeup artist I met through a friend who was a friend of somebody at ADMI. The lady who does my design work, also a friend of a friend from ADMI. So it's just, that's cool. Was this? I give it its flowers every day. But just the process was good. There's no hiccups. Of course, the pandemic ones where there's certain things you can't do. For example, curfew. You can't shoot at night, so you have to do your scenes during the day, work around that. But I think for me, the best experience I've had, honestly, so far, was among the many, because there are many, but that one would be the experience I can think about rather is dropping the single and like going live as I'm dropping it and just seeing how people were reacting to it. And yeah, that was a really good experience. That's my best experience so far. My worst experience. My worst experience would have to have been when I started recording. So the first studio I went to was one that my friend owned, and they were co-sharing with other producers. So I was on this side of the booth and this guy on the other side. And I won't name the studio. I won't name them. So as I was singing on this side, because the first song I recorded, I still have not released, by the way. It's going to be on my EP, we hope. So I was singing on this other side, and then these guys, after I finished, I've sang my heart out, blood, sweat, tears, the works. When I'm done, they're like, can we talk to you? So I'm like, okay. And there are two producers. I'm like, yeah, Sana. They're like, are you sure? Are you sure?
Can you do this?
You sure you want to go this direction of singing? Are you sure? And I'm like, excuse me? They're like, no, you have a good voice, but like, we need more Tiwa and more Yemi Alade. Listen to them. Maybe right now you feel like you're Nikita Kering and Fee. And I was in shock. I'm like, this is my first day and I'm already being compared and being told I'm not good enough. That took a toll on my like insecurity already that I already have, because I'm just like, okay, so now those are actual producers in the field telling me I'm not good enough. So now what's the point? But on the flip side, I'm just like, if I'm sounding like Nikita Kering and Fee, those are compliments you guys are giving me, because these women can sing and they are talented musically. They can compose, they can write. Mimi nani nisikwe kama. So that was, I think,
so they were saying it like it was a bad thing.
Yeah, they're saying it like it's a bad thing. In fact, they even asked me, the first question they asked me was, "Hii muziki unaifanyia kwa nini? Why are you doing it? Are you doing it to make money or as a hobby?" That's the most disrespectful thing you can ask an artist. Anyway, so I think that I'll forever remember those people, their faces, their names, and the question that they asked me. But again, I think these experiences shape your journey. So it reinforced, once I released the song and I released the second song and there's good reception from both of them, I'm like, you guys didn't know shit. You're just hating. Honestly, not talking with any brands, to be honest. But somebody who I say has shaped my career very significantly would be my producer, just because of, again, the translation of my sound, and also we compose sometimes together and he trusts my process because my process is not normal. Somebody asked me, how do you write songs? Do you go into studio in the jam? And I hear people do that and I'm like, that's amazing, I'd love to do that. My process is more of a song attacks me in the middle of the night. Like it's about 2 a.m. I'm trying to sleep and this song just keeps just playing, and it won't stop until I wake up, I take my sound recorder, record, then I sleep and I can sleep. Or I'm in the shower and then boom, song. Or I'm listening to another song and then something else, just another song. I think they call it the genius, which I don't know. But my songs attack me, and they attack me with a chorus. And then they're like, now you figure out the verse. And I'm like, okay, you do you. So Jopi understands that about me. He'll just ask me, what do you have for me? So I tell him, I have 2 lines. So what you do with these 2 lines, I'm not sure. But he like, just send me the 2 lines and I'll send them to him. And then he told me, okay, now come into studio. So I'll come into studio and then intermitting those lines over and over again as he's composing a beat or a melody to them. And then as he's composing now, we'll just be talking about where this direction of the song is going and what I'm trying to communicate with the song. And that's how the lyrics will show up. But this is going to be a verse again, and then I'll have to go home with the song and the verse and the chorus, and then now, yeah, it comes together like some kind of work. So he would be the most significant person, if I'm being honest. Yeah, when it comes to my music journey. Oh, for sure. You need to know your values as an artist and just where you want to go. Because if you know that, then you know the direction that you want to take, you know what it is you will and you won't accept. And I actually feel that's the reason why I started my career late. Because ideally, when I was 21 and fine and things like that. But if I started out early, I would have been easily influenced by a lot of things. For example, if I had met those people when I was 21, those producers, me literally, I'd have changed my sound completely. So getting into this when I'm more mature and more self-aware is a plus. And so now I can choose, or I can think about, or I have more critical thinking when it comes to now. If somebody was to approach me to work with them, I'd be like, okay, does what your brand stand for align with mine, and do I align with yours? How can this be a symbiotic relationship where I can, if I'm endorsing, it's not just to get your money, but I also believe in the product that you have, that I'm actually even using your products. Yeah. So brands that I would like to work with, Coca-Cola, because of the whole Coke Studio thing, the fact that you have put resources into creating this thing that wasn't in existence, that you thought through, that you're intentional about it, is amazing. To showcase African artists, to bring them together to collaborate, which maybe we didn't think of collaboration as much as we should have. So yes, that Red Bull, because of how they worked with MDQ. I love MDQ. How they worked with MDQ during the pandemic. I'd love to work with Monster. I'd also love to work with sportswear, because I'm sporty. Wine, because wine is just life. Yeah.
You're sporty?
I'm sporty, yes. I played basketball.
Used to, or still?
Used to. I will speak as somebody who teaches music business, and I'll speak as an artist. As somebody who teaches music business, it is possible to earn a career. Kwani Beyonce and you, what's the difference? Okay, yes, she has invested time and energy and resources into that, but it's possible. Planning your music career is, because you need to think about your career not as a hobby, but as a business. As a business, you need capital, you need resources, you need maybe a marketing team, you need how to figure out branding, you may need a legal team, you need somebody like a business developer or a manager who will show you what you need to do for the market you're trying to reach or to work within. And so I think it's possible. Again, I know people right now, most musicians make money through live performances. Most of their money comes from live performances and endorsements, and right now with what's going on, it's not very easy to have a performance that is live, because you can't. The regulations stop you from doing that. I have just begun as a solo act. As a band, we get paid as a band. As a solo act, I have not gotten money that would pay rent. And that's okay for me, because I'm trying to go about it a different way. And also just the fact that there's a pandemic and most artists make most money when they're performing live. And we don't have that luxury right now because of everything that's happening. So I know of artists who they have endorsement deals and they're living off of that. Some are having live performances on IG or on Facebook or on YouTube, and they are being sponsored by. There's this something with live performances. You see, if you're a musician, you like to perform because you absorb the energy the crowd is giving you. Negative or positive? Exactly, negative or positive. And if it's negative, you know what your crowd doesn't like, you know what to improve on. Positive, it's a good time, you go home feeling so fulfilled, you have money in your pocket, everybody's happy. Live it is not, you can fake it, or maybe if you're feeling your music that much, then it's okay, but there's something about connection with an audience. And even just for the audience, seeing you live, seeing you in the same vicinity as them, in the same proximity, and just, you know, if you know their lyrics, if they know your lyrics, if they don't, there's merchandise, it's a vibe there with their friends, your music is just taking them to a level that they're connecting with it. Those are fans you can translate to actual proper fans, people who will now follow you, who will now look out for the things that you're doing, the projects that you are doing. It's building a fan base, and I think live performances, that's the purpose that they serve. Just mute it. Yeah, so it is possible to make an income if you plan it like a business. It's not a hobby, it's a business. So you need to put in the hours, the resources, even get a team if you can. Somebody who'll handle your design, somebody who'll handle booking your show, somebody who'll handle booking your studio sessions. Because again, it also gets overwhelming as one person to do all these things. I won't lie, I get overwhelmed and then I shut off for a month because I'm like, I can't do this. Yeah. So yeah. I feel like it's in the planning and you knowing where you want to go with this music. Is it again, you know, a hobby? A hobby will mean I'm bored, let me do this thing. And then I'll do it, and then I'll probably produce a banger, and then I don't have a plan for the after. So the banger is there. You see the banger, you have a banger, but you're not making money off of it. You're not sending in proposals to corporates to, you know, attach your song to their next advert, or pitching it to the next Kenyan production to put it as one of their soundtracks. It's not just a hobby, it's a business. You have to think about it like running a kiosk, like having a retail shop, like having a clothing line. Capital is required because capital will allow you to pay for studio time. If you can't get capital, raise capital. If you can't raise capital, find other ways around it. You can buy beats online for like 2 Gs. Talk to a producer, look at rates that can suit you. Make something, make a body of work, or just make one piece of work. But again, also just as you're doing these things, these small steps, also look at the bigger picture. Where do you want to be in 5 years? What do you as an artist consider a success? Because success to people is a lot of money. But you need to be able to sustain the money. It needs to be a sustainable thing. See, you're paid $1 million for a gig, and then you're like, I've made it, I can't finish now. No. How do you now go to now make the next 2 million? So it's all business. And I think some artists, in fact, even I have been a victim of it. I had to learn music business just to know how to separate the passion from the actual entrepreneurship of it. Yeah. Because passion is fun, passion is amazing, but that's 10%. Talent is like 10%. 90% is, that's why you hear the artists who we say are overrated. This guy. But this guy is working business-wise. You know, he's not just doing artistry, he also has a biashara here, he has a talent manager, he has this and this and that. It's a business, you have to focus on the business side of it. Yeah. I am talented, I am passionate, and I'm doing it for business. The short of the answer. Yeah. Okay, you see, talent, sometimes you don't realize you have it until somebody else tells you you have it. And then you think they're crazy, and then more people tell you that you have it, and you're like, maybe they're onto something. Maybe I'm letting my self-doubt get the better of me, and I actually have something here. And that's also one of the things that I had, because I thought I could sing, yeah, but not like, because you know now in church there were chicks who could sing. I was just like, wait. Me, I can just be BGVs for life. So when I joined the band, it would be, we're singing somewhere and then somebody comes and goes like, your voice is so amazing. And I'm like, oh, you're just being nice, but thank you. And then you keep hearing it and you're like, maybe I actually can sing, you know? And then I think what reinforced that I could sing for me, and I won't lie, was my first solo performance where I was nervous. I was shitting bricks because I was just like, I will suck. They'll just know I'm a fraud. And so when I did it, 3 people literally followed me out of the performance and told me, oh my God, you have an amazing voice. I was like, okay, now I'm onto something here. There must be something here. Yeah, so I feel like I'm talented. No, I know I'm talented. I have now that self-assurance to know that I can sing and I can write songs. Passionate, definitely. Nobody chooses these challenges for nothing. I keep telling you, like, nobody looks for problems. So even just, there has to be a drive. So I am passionate. And I'm also doing it for business. Here's the thing, that person asked me, are you doing it? Yeah, it's not wrong. And that person asked me, Ati, are you doing it for a hobby? Am I doing it to make money? I told him both. Because I believe it's possible to make money from something you love to do. Can you imagine waking up to a job you love every morning and you're doing it so natural, so flawlessly, so naturally, because you don't even feel like it's a job? That's what I want for myself. Like for my life's work rather, I'd want to always be excited, because deep down I am a creator. I create. That's, I think, my purpose on this earth. I was made to create. I create things. That's why I write, I paint, I sing, I create. Imagine the people who just like to paint, they can't paint for shit, but they like to paint. The people who like to sing, they can't sing. That's why they have things like karaoke. People go and sing, they have a good time, they're drunk most of the time, and they go home and they're happy. You don't have to be good at a hobby, so long as it gives you fulfillment. That's it. Yeah. So being somebody who's young or a youth, there's challenges and victories in equal measure. The challenge being sometimes you have to split your time. You want to focus on this one thing, but you also have to pay rent. You have to put food on the table. You have to live a relatively comfortable life. So you have to do something that earns you money. You can't just do music full time if you're just relying on yourself and you're not signed and things like that. So the challenge is that, having to split yourself, because sometimes it's easy to get overwhelmed and focus so much on chasing the bag that you forget there's this whole thing you have to be growing. The plus side of being a youth doing music is that you're learning as you go. There's no point at which you'll be like, I've figured, I've learned. You have to be a teachable spirit. So being young means at least you're more open to learning different things. For example, I watched an interview with Fena where she said she did this style of music for some time, and then she realized she had to go back to the drawing board and reinvent herself and come back. Somebody who's older may not have that kind of luxury of time. I'm not saying time should stop you, I'm just saying it's easier as somebody who's starting out and learning as a young person to try and fail and try and fail and try and fail. Because again, experiences you can't put a price on experience. Yeah, so it's got its pros and cons. Somebody as an old timer who I've worked with, it was interesting because they have a certain mindset of what music should sound like and what a good composition is and what harmonies should show up here and what, how you should package yourself as an artist, what you should look like. And that was a challenge I had with somebody who I interacted with when I was starting out. They wanted me to sound a certain way, they wanted me to look a certain way, to talk a certain way, to sing songs about certain things. And me, I wanted to sing songs about ratchetness, my ratchetness. I wanted to sing songs and be open to sing songs about that. But they weren't very open to that. Exactly, they weren't open-minded. But this is just one person I'm talking about. I've not worked with many old timers, so I wouldn't like classify and stereotype them and say they are all like this. This is one person I interacted with. Yeah. Self-awareness is key. Know your limits, know what it is you want for yourself and for your life. Know or be at peace, be able to reconcile with the decisions that you make right now. And if there are mistakes, make them, because they're your mistakes to make. Nobody else can make them for you. And be patient with yourself. Please, for God's sake, be patient with yourself. Nobody made it overnight. These overnight stories,
Scam.
it's not a scam. You think it's overnight, but the tears, blood, and sweat that went into this thing, you don't know the stories. So nobody makes it overnight. So be patient with yourself and be kind to yourself and be true to yourself and make music that you want to make. If at all this song has one view, you will be good with that one view. Don't make it for people, because now if people don't like your music, you think there's something wrong with you, and there's nothing wrong with you. So also that self-awareness will allow you to like your music before you give it to other people to like, and you'll be okay with the music you make, and you will find your people and you'll find your tribe who like your music, and it's gonna be a good time. So yeah, that's my advice. Make your own mistakes.